The positive sides of studying alone. In a culture that glorifies collaboration, networking, and group productivity, studying alone can feel outdated, almost antisocial. Libraries are quieter than coffee shops. Solo desks are less glamorous than brainstorming rooms. Independent revision lacks the visible energy of group discussions. Yet there is a quiet, underestimated power in solitary study. Studying alone is not isolation, it's focus without negotiation, it's clarity without interruption, it is depth without distraction. And in a world increasingly addicted to noise, depth is rare. Undivided attention. When you study alone, your attention belongs entirely to you. There is no need to align schedules, adjust pacing, or accommodate someone else's questions. Attention is one of the most valuable cognitive resources we possess. It determines the quality of understanding, the durability of memory, and the efficiency of learning. In solitary environments, attentional fragmentation decreases. This strengthens cognitive endurance, the ability to maintain concentration over extended periods. Group study often feels productive because it's social, but social stimulation is not the same as deep learning. Alone, you are less tempted to perform understanding. You either understand the material or you don't, and that honesty accelerates growth. Intellectual autonomy. Studying alone cultivates intellectual independence. When you encounter a difficult concept without immediate external explanation, you are forced to wrestle with it. The struggle activates metacognitive process. Thinking about your own thinking, you ask, what do I understand? What do I understand? Where am I confused? What assumption am I making? This internal dialogue strengthens analytical clarity. In group settings, answers often arrive too quickly. Someone else explains, someone else summarizes, and while that can be helpful, it sometimes bypasses the deeper cognitive work required for mastery. Learning alone teaches you how to learn, and that skill is transferable across every domain. Reduces social comparison. Group study environments can quietly trigger comparison. Who understands faster, who asks smarter questions, who appears more confident. These comparisons activate subtle psychological pressure. Instead of focusing purely on material, part of your attention monitors social standing. Alone comparison dissolves. There is no performance, no silent competition, just you and the material. This creates emotional stability, and stability improves retention. Personalized pacing. Every brain processes information at different speeds. Some individuals need repetition, others prefer rapid synthesis. Studying alone allows adaptive pacing. You can linger on complex chapters, skip what you already know, revisit weak points without embarrassment. This aligns with principles of self-regulated learning, the ability to plan, monitor, and evaluate one's own progress. When you control tempo, comprehension improves. Education becomes tailored rather than standardized. I once knew a student preparing for competitive entrance exams. At first, she joined multiple group sessions. Discussions were lively, but she noticed something subtle. She understood topics only when someone else explained them. When studying independently, confusion starts faced. So she shifted strategy. She began studying alone for most of the week, using group sessions only to clarify specific doubts. The first week were difficult. Silence felt heavy. Distraction tempted her constantly. But gradually something changed. Her confidence grew. She could explain topics without assistance. Her mock exam scores improved significantly. She later described the shift this way: studying alone forced me to confront what I didn't know. It was uncomfortable but powerful. Depth over speed. Solitary study often promotes depth rather than speed. Without conversational drift, you can enter prolonged states of immersion. These states resemble flow state conditions, where awareness narrows and understanding deepens. Flow is difficult to sustain in social environments. Interruptions break rhythm. Conversations redirect focus. Alone, emotion becomes accessible, and emotion builds mastery, strengthening mental resilience. There is also an emotional benefit. Studying alone cultivates quiet resilience. When you hit a difficult section, there is no immediate external support. You either quit or persist. Choosing persistence builds internal strength. This resilience extended beyond academics. It shapes how you approach challenges in career, relationships, and personal growth. Comfort with solitude translates to comfort with problem solving. Minimizing distractions. Even disciplined group study sessions contain micro distractions. Tight conversations, casual jokes, device checks. In solitary settings, environmental control increases. You choose the ring, the music, or silence the schedule. Reducing external stimulus supports sustained attentional engagement, and sustained engagement strengthens long-term memory consolidation. Intellectual ownership. When you learn something independently, you feel ownership over it. The knowledge is not borrowed, it's constructed. This reflects principles of constructivist learning theory. The idea that understanding emerges through active engagement rather than passive reception. Ownership builds confidence. Confidence encourages further exploration. Emotional regulation. Studying alone can initially feel uncomfortable. Silence amplifies internal thoughts. Distractions become more noticeable. But over time, solitude improves emotional regulation. You become more aware of when your focus drifts. You learn to bring it back. This awareness strengthens discipline. Discipline reduces anxiety before exams, and reduced anxiety improves performance. Long-term academic identity. Solitary study fosters strong academic identity. You begin seeing yourself as capable of independent mastery. This reinforces positive academic self-efficiency. Belief in your ability to learn and succeed. Self-efficiency influences effort. Effort influences results. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. This doesn't mean group study lacks value. Collaboration introduces alternative viewpoints. Discussion clarifies misunderstandings. But without a foundation of independent study, group work can become surface level. The strongest learners combine with one, prioritize depth first. Solitude as strength. There is something empowering about sitting alone with difficult material and not retreating. It cultivates patience, focus, self-trust. In a world saturated with constant connectivity, voluntary solitude becomes strategic advantage. Studying alone is not withdrawal, it is reinforcement. The positive sides of studying alone are not flashy. They are quiet, unrestricted focus, intellectual independence, emotional resilience, deep comprehension. You don't need constant collaboration to grow. Sometimes growth happens most effectively when no one is watching, alone at the desk, turning pages, solving problems, building something innovative but durable. Because mastery is rarely loud, it is usually built in silence.